Hey guys, happy Monday. I'm live. I decided to go live for a few minutes because I'm actually at work right now. I just let my students go and I have not been on here for a while. So I said, let me just jump on. I want to answer a question. And if anybody is watching and you guys have a question after this, just feel free to leave it. If not, I'll just hop off. But I just wanted to go live, show my face a little bit. So many people have been asking me when I'm going to do another video. I will soon. I've had a lot going on. So anyway, I want to answer this question. It's literally like the number one question that I get in my Facebook group. Should I wear scrubs to an interview? And this is my answer. Just to keep it simple, no. Now, some people might hear me say no and say, well, I wore scrubs to my interview and I got the job. So let's think about this, okay? You guys heard of exceptions to the rule, right? So, in the job world, the rule has always been to dress professionally, right? Dress professionally, right? Hey guys, that's just joining in. The rule has always been when you're going on an interview, you want to dress professionally, right? Business or business casual, right? Meaning you want to wear a suit, right? If you don't have a suit, a button up top is fine with some slacks if you're a woman. Same thing if you're a man. If you have a blazer, even better, put your blazer on. The exception, though, is in instances where students, medical assistant students, maybe have an interview and the employer allows them to wear scrubs. And the reason why I say it's an exception to the rule is because not every employer is going to be okay with you coming in scrubs. And you always kind of want to be on the safe side anyway. Now, if you have an employer who specifically tells you, hey, I want you to come in scrubs because we're going to do a working interview, right? We're going to have you shadow the medical assistant here and we want you to work, right? And that'll be your working interview or shadow interview is what they call it. In that case, perfectly fine. I'll give you guys another example of when it's okay to wear scrubs for an interview. So, at my former school, my students, a lot of them had to do interviews for their externship site, which all externship sites don't require an interview. Some will just take you, right? But some sites require an interview. So, like clockwork, every semester, because I got students at the end when they were on their way out, like clockwork, every semester, towards the end of class, I would get students, their phone would be ringing, or sometimes at the same time, because we would give out externship sites at the same time. Students like, oh, my site wants me to come today for an interview. So in that case, they were leaving school, and of course, they wore their scrubs to the interview because it was okay. They asked if it was okay. So in that case, yes, it's okay. But in general, my answer is always going to be no, unless the employer specifically tells you to wear scrubs, do not wear scrubs. And I'll give you somebody in the group. It was actually a couple of people, but one person in particular, I remember when that question came up, she shared how she wore scrubs to the interview, and the hiring manager asked her, "Hey, why'd you wear scrubs?" And she said, "I thought it was okay." She said, "Don't ever do that again." So even though, again, some of you may watch this and some of you may have gotten hired in your scrubs, which is great. Again, that's an exception to the rule. The rule is always to dress professionally, okay? All right, so that's my answer to that. I'll leave that alone for now. Somebody said, "Here we go again. I need help passing my certification, please. I took it twice for the AMA. It was not." I'm sorry to hear that. For some reason, I don't know why I can't see your name on here. But I'm sorry to hear you say you took it twice for the AMA. So, a couple different things I suggest. First of all, I always recommend when you fail the test a couple times. Well, first of all, if you fail it at all, go back to your school to see what kind of assistant they can offer you. Because I say this because when our students, and when I say our, I mean like at my schools, every school I've been in, whenever we had a student to fail certification, we took it upon ourselves to help that student pass. So go back to your school, see what kind of help or tutoring that they can offer you. If they're not offering any help, if you don't already have that study guide and practice test, you're going to have to get that, and then just double down on studying the areas where you fell short. It's very hard for me to tell you guys exactly what to do when you fail because there's so many different reasons. I've had students not pass because, of a language barrier. I had another student not pass because of a disability, right? And so I don't know why you didn't pass. I don't know if it was a lack of studying on your end. I don't know if it was a lack of preparation on your school's end. So it's hard for me to say. But the biggest thing, the number one thing I always say, see how your school can help. If your school is not helping, then it's time for you to go back to your study guide and practice tests and study those weak or double down on studying the areas where you feel short. So if you know you do well in anatomy and physiology, terminology, you're good, but then you know you struggle in administrative skills, you need to go back to those areas. So I hope that helps, but that's just a general answer. I would need to kind of talk to you one on one to know for sure. I do offer one on ones. That link, it probably automatically comes up in the description. I'm not sure. Jasmine says, I got CCMA without externship and applied for a job and was told it's weird I got it without clinical practice. And now I feel like it will be a really hard time finding a job. Jasmine, not necessarily. CCMA certification doesn't require you to get an externship. The RMA does. I'm not sure about the CMA, but the RMA does require you to get externship, so you wouldn't be able to get that without it. But the CCMA, you don't need externship. So, for an example, the school where I teach now, students are not required to have an externship, and we do offer them CCMA. Okay, so it's not going to necessarily be hard. The one of the things you want to do, get in touch with a recruiting agency, look up medical assistant recruiting agencies. And if you've been following my channel, you guys probably hear me say this all the time. Wherever you are, just search medical assistant staffing agencies or medical assistant recruiting agencies in your city and state, and then contact them and see if they can help you find something. But it's absolutely possible, Jasmine, absolutely possible. And if you didn't have a clinical practice, you just let them know that. Go around to some private offices. That's another thing I suggest. And that's the time where you got to kind of, sell yourself, let them know you're teachable, right? I didn't have externship hours, but I am teachable. If you did well in school, those are the type of things you want to point out. I got, maybe my GPA was at least a 3.5 the entire time, or maybe my instructors, they always used me to help other students. Whatever those strengths are that you can find from your schooling, that you're going to have to kind of sell yourself with that. So I hope that helped. Excuse me, guys. I'm hungry. I need to go eat. I'm about to leave work, but I just wanted to hop on here for a few minutes. I'm just going to wait a couple seconds, see if any other questions come up. Every time I log out, I end up seeing a question that I miss. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. And you're welcome, H. You're welcome. I hope that helps, and hopefully your school is able to help you, because that's what we're there for. So, and you know your areas that you fell short, and so just make sure you go back and study those areas, double down on studying those areas. All right, guys. While I'm on here, let me see if there's anything else that I can think of that you guys have been asking. I know that's like the number one thing. Oh, a big one that I see in the group a lot. And when I say the group, I mean my medical assistant group on Facebook. Is called the Medical Assistant Lounge. Another thing I see a lot is, what's going on with the new tests? I'm taking a new test. Somebody help me. What do I need to study? I need to, guys, calm down. First of all, if you've never taken the test before, the new test doesn't matter. And it's not a new test. You got to think about it, guys. When you're in healthcare, right? Healthcare guidelines change, right? That's like how, blood pressure now, pre-hypertension, the ranges have changed. Back in the day, 128 was considered good, but now it's considered pre-hypertension or elevated, right? As a systolic pressure. Things change, right? And then we just got out of a pandemic, right? So guidelines change. All the tests, all they did was they updated the test. They added some new content. So calm down, especially if the only people that should be, I'm gonna tell you guys, the only people that should be a little kind of worried about it are these people right here. And if you're not this person right here, you should not be worried. If you are a person who took the old version prior to January 9th, right? And all of your study material is the 2.0 study material, the old material. And now, so you took the test prior to January 9th, and now you have to take it again. And now you have to take the new version, and all you have is the 2.0 study material. That's the only people that should be kind of stressed out. And I don't even want you to stress out. I just say that because in your case, you've been studying the old material. Now you got to update a test to take, right? Even then, don't worry about it, because a lot of the information is still the same. However, it's been some added content, okay? But if this doesn't apply to you, if you're just now about to take the test for the first time, you definitely shouldn't be worried because you don't have anything to compare it to. So don't go freaking out. The new test, what do I study? How is it different from the first test? Somebody tell me. Don't worry about that. It doesn't apply to you. You've never taken a test before. Either way, make sure you have a study guide and practice test. $250 for the exam. I don't know about the exam being $250 unless that just is that the new price? Is that the two H tell me 250 for what? For the CMA? If that's the cost for the CMA, I'm not exactly sure what that costs, but that sounds kind of high, but the CMA is a 5-year certification. So I would imagine that it would cost more um than the CCMA and the RMA because it's a 5-year certification. So I'm not sure. Andrew, it says number three. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, CMA, H, yeah. That's probably why, because it's a 5-year certification. It's been so long since I've had anything to do with the CMA because my school now, my students take CCMA, and then the school before that, my students took RMA. It's been years. My school from way back, they took the CMA. So when it comes to the CMA and the AAMA, that is the certification and the organization that I'm least familiar with. So, but if it's 250, it's probably because it's a 5-year certification. And I know the CCMA, it was 175, so it could have possibly gone up since then. I don't know. It may be the same price. I'm not sure, but I think it was about 175, maybe 180. So if that is that much, I can't be surprised that 250 for the CMA for a 5-year certification. RMA is registered medical assistant. So that is given by the by AMT, by American Medical Technologists. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and log out of here. Andrew Cruz, I'm not sure what you meant by number three. And H, I wish you much luck. I hope that you can get the help you need and that you're able to pass. I'm looking forward to you commenting again. Oh, the name is Here We Go Again. Okay, I see it now, H. That's why, because when I saw Here We Go Again, I thought that was a part of your comment until I see your other comments. I thought you meant Here We Go Again, meaning you have to take your test again. So I see now, Here We Go Again. That's a funny name. All right, guys, I just want to make sure. Hi, Paige. I just wanted to make sure you guys don't have any other questions before I log out. Again, I just wanted to come on and answer that question that I get so much about scrubs. If you're just getting on here, should you wear scrubs to an interview? The answer is no, except if the employer specifically says it's okay. But don't ever assume it's okay. A couple of people in the group shared that they wore scrubs thinking that it was okay, and it wasn't. Okay. But then again, there's a lot of people who did wear scrubs and it was okay. But always be on the safe side and assume that the rule applies. And the rule has always been to dress professionally in business wear or business casual. Okay. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. Now, I'm not used to being live from my phone on YouTube, so let me make sure I can exit this. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.